Well, more than 150 passengers evacuated from the Diamond Princess cruise ship will get to go home this morning after spending 14 days in quarantine in Darwin.
Matt Cunningham joins us live now. Matt, you're at the Howard Springs Quarantine Centre. The long wait is finally over. So all these passengers that were quarantined, of them, how many actually ended up having the coronavirus?
Well, there were 8 confirmed cases, Laura. They were all flown interstate after they were diagnosed. Now, among those cases includes James Kwan, the tourism pioneer who sadly died in a Perth hospital on Sunday. But as for the people who remain here, there are more than 150 people still here, and they will finally get to go home this morning, Laura. Of course, they haven't just been in quarantine here for 14 days, but before that they were in quarantine aboard the Diamond Princess for 14 days. Their 14-day quarantine period was almost up when they were evacuated from that cruise ship, put on a plane and flown here to Darwin. It's fair to say some of them haven't been too complimentary about the quality of the accommodation that they've been using here at Howard Springs. There were some complaints about cockroaches, about cleanliness, but overall I think most people have been pretty grateful that the Australian government managed to get them out of that dreadful situation over there aboard the Diamond Princess cruise ship and bring them to this quarantine facility here. Of course, this place housed more than 200 people who were evacuated from Wuhan, as well as the more than 160 who were evacuated from the Diamond Princess cruise ship. We're yet to hear from the Australian government as to whether they think that this facility will be used again after today. But as of about 7 o'clock local time this morning, the people who have been here for the past 2 weeks, Laura and Pete, will finally get to go home.
And Matt, this comes as authorities reveal the first case of coronavirus among the general public in the NT.
That's right, Pete, and this is certainly a cause for some concern. A 52-year-old, we are told late last night, flew to Darwin from Sydney and has actually tested positive to coronavirus. That person is being held in isolation at the Royal Darwin Hospital at the moment. Now, we heard yesterday from Brendan Murphy, the Chief Medical Officer of Australia, about the concern of the possibility that coronavirus could make it into remote communities. Particular concern about remote communities here in the Northern Territory, given that not only are they isolated a long way from hospitals, but also the fact that many of the people who live in those communities already have high rates of chronic illness, including diabetes and rheumatic heart disease. So that's something authorities are watching closely. They're particularly concerned about the potential that fly-in, fly-out workers could bring the coronavirus to some of those remote communities. So we did hear from Brendan Murphy yesterday saying that extra screening will be in place to ensure that those FIFO workers are checked before they get on a plane and fly to some of those communities. Obviously, the worst nightmare for authorities would be if coronavirus does make it into some of those remote Indigenous areas.
Yeah, absolutely, Matt. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.